Yes. Come here. All good. We'll just say you're on civilian time.
Thanks, Andrea. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good morning, good afternoon.
Do we have everybody online today this morning?
Sort of. Rick's coming. He forgot.
That's what happens when you go to Arizona and you're foot free and fancy
Oh,
free. You can do anything you want.
we had a travel Tuesday experience.
I'm realigning 8 people on coming from 3 different cities and 2 different airlines to different sites to hotels to reorganize their transportation and their hotel room. It's fun. Travel is fun.
You know, travel is a lot like having kids
Yeah,
because you got to wrangle 4 different things and 4 different people and putting them all in different places and making sure you don't lose one in the process.
this is true. And you have to keep your wits about you during the whole time because you're dealing with that one thing that is required to succeed in anything people.
That's right.
And sometimes we are all emotional beings and we have different things that, well, sometimes a couple things can set us off. And sometimes to try and be thinking clearly, it's a little difficult to do that. But you know what? We can recover because we have people who care and people who want to make things good in life. And so that's what we're working to doing. So I believe my guess is that somewhere on the phone out there in the systems of all the telephone connections in the world, we've got some people coming on from somewhere out in Washington, I think Tacoma, if I'm not mistaken. My guess that Chantel and Glenn are online saying hi to us this morning. Can you guys talk to us?
I gave them the options. So, Rick,
Hello, hello,
welcome.
hello.
Hey,
We were comparing travel to having kids and how you have to wrangle many different people and many different things and make sure you don't lose one in the process.
That's funny.
Hey, but it's true.
What?
Take 2 kids to the grocery store. One runs that way, the other one runs the other way.
do you know, Linda and I carry a phone with us when we go in the grocery store because I will guess 9 out of 10 times she will be calling me on my phone, or I'll be calling her on her phone to find her. We lose each other in the grocery store all the time. It's almost automatic.
That is too funny. That's my story too. Like, where did she go? And then I
Well,
go and
Ricky,
I look aisle by aisle.
we have a question for you this morning, Rick.
Hey,
How is Arizona?
it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And we'll be here for a couple of months. Can you imagine? A couple of months. We'll be here for a couple of months, coming from Charleston, and and that's one of the cool things about having a business that's mobile, that's online, that it goes where you go. And so we were able to, of course, at the drop of a hat, say yes, we'll come out. The backstory is Brenda's brother Keith opened a restaurant here in Page, Arizona,
A very nice one.
the Rustic Thistle. And Ron, the food is amazing. He went to culinary school and from Charleston. So you can imagine he's bringing the southern flavors, the low country flavors to Arizona. So you're talking shrimp and grits and, I mean, but so, everything. And he's got a menu that is just amazing. Covers like everything. We've been trying everything because we're comped on the food.
Let me ask you: does he have cream of wheat on the restaurant on the menu for breakfast?
I haven't looked. I'm not sure if he has all you can eat cream of wheat. That's a good question. And we've been trying everything, Ron, and it is just so flavorful. And so Brendan and I, he said he called us a couple of weeks, well, about a week ago now. Seems like we've been here for a few months, and asked us on a Sunday. And he had been kind of hitting around, and he wanted Brenda to come out, my wife, to come out and to whip the front office into order. He's got the kitchen all covered. Food is great, and but he needed some management skills there to take over the front office. Where people come in, they take your order, and the different restaurant management systems that they have out there. They've got some incredible software, for where people are sitting and tracking the whole process of the front office. And Brenda came out, and that's her background, management. And she just, in just a short time that we've been here, she's had meetings with all the hostesses and just getting everything in order and making sure the process flows. It's amazing. It's night and day, even the 4 or 5 days that we've been here. And I set up an office in one of the rooms in the back so that we could do things like this, and of course live my other life and helping them out as well, and creating different products like Mary does for us, whether it's a sign over here, sign over there, and actually doing a digital TV messaging. So our TV, where when you're walking by the front of the restaurant, you can look and you can see the menus and read the menus. So we got a TV and doing a ceiling mount so it can hang right, so people can actually see it. And you can do videos on there, roll food pictures of food in. Folks are going to be like, "Oh my gosh! I mean, these dishes just look amazing." I've been sending them out the pictures of them, and it's right near an ATM machine. So while people are getting their money, they're going to see, the menu, specials of the day, and pictures of the food. They're going to be like, "I can't wait till this place opens." That's going to be kind of running 24/7 in a loop.
Hey,
But we're
Rick, I saw
here,
some pictures of the pancakes. They were like inch thick. They look stacked. Looked
stacked
incredible.
high. Oh man! And the thing is, Ron, all the food is amazing. The flavors, the presentation, and I mean, we had some chicken wings that were like, "Oh my gosh!" You guys were in Buffalo, and we had country fried steak and for
Ooh,
breakfast over scrambled. I mean, over scrambled eggs and hash browns. I mean, everything is just. So we'll be out here, and I'm talking about the food, but we're here to help him in whatever capacity. But the coolest thing is, he says, Rick, we've got a house for you, and we've got transportation. And so, we wasn't thinking anything of it. We come out, it's like an Airbnb home, new model. He said, this is where you guys can stay. This is, oh, by the way, you can drive my car and that BMW Sport. But we haven't had a chance to do any tourist stuff yet.
Well,
But I was just looking today, actually yesterday, at the 15 best things to do in Page, Arizona. Now, for the listeners, if you have never been to Page, Arizona, this is a destination town. And I'm sure this summer you'll have about 1 million people roll through because it's destinations. And one of the destinations, I don't know if you ever heard of it, is the Antelope Canyon. I know you've seen pictures of it, but these are canyons and caverns where the walls are all different. The cave walls are just all different, multicolored, and it's a natural thing. And Antelope Canyon, and it's the most amazing natural scene I've ever seen. You know, because it's by nature. Of course, nature is just interesting anyway. Another thing is Horseshoe Bend, and this is also an amazing. These are all like iconic, natural formations. That you can just say, "Oh my Lord, God is just amazing what He does." Another one is called the Carl Hayden Visitor Center. So these are things that you can come out, and this is a damn tour that you can take. Another is Lake Powell. Most people have heard of Lake Powell, but
yeah.
you got Lake Powell, then you have Glen Canyon Dam, and just a little bit of history about Page, Arizona. The town was formed with the workers who were here to build this Glen Canyon Dam, and of course, their encampment kind of turned into a town, and nice town now, and which has now turned into a destination. We haven't gone out to Glen Canyon Dam yet, but we've got to get out there. Then you've got the John Wesley Powell Museum. Powell must have been a pretty cool guy, I guess, huh? Everything's kind of Powell, Lake Powell, Powell Museum, and but the Horseshoe Bend. If you get a chance, you want to Google the Horseshoe Bend, which is a natural formation, and we're going to be going out there when we get off. Actually, Ron, I'm actually working. And the other thing is, I brought my drone.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so I'm going to be flying my drone out here. Let's see, another thing here I'm looking at. Lee's Ferry is another place you want to see if you come out. Rainbow Bridge National Monument. This is also not far from. Is it Bryce Canyon up in Utah? The national park up there. Within a 2-hour radius, the things you can see here it will blow you away. And but the most important thing here, I'd say, is the fact that being in the travel business allows me the mobility to continue working no matter where I'm at. I remember when we took the transatlantic cruise back in 2016 and crossing the Atlantic, had internet, and right outside of right sitting right at one of the tables right near the jacuzzi, pulled out my laptop, crossing the Atlantic. Midway, I'm working, Ron. Midway, I'm working. But so if you ever get a chance to come out to Page, Arizona, the Rustic Thistle, the website is rusticthistleeats.com. And I'll tell you, you will not be disappointed. Anything that you order. And I'm trying them all. I'm trying every meal. But it's nice when family can help family.
Certainly.
And and the most beautiful thing is the skill sets. And we talk about this on the show. We're developing in Surge 365. We're developing skill sets that are not just for the travel, but for life. And the skill sets that we actually have learned in Surge 365 have a value, even being out here in Page, Arizona, getting a restaurant up and running. It's an amazing thing. So when people are thinking about, what can I do, especially as they get older or even younger, you know, develop a skill set, that has value, that's transferable value, that makes you important in anything that you do, any area that you choose to work. That just so happens that travel is a lot of fun.
Well, Rick, I got a question for you. You recognize, you see from a broad spectrum, and of course, even nationally, because you're going from East Coast to West Coast. I think a couple weeks ago you were in the middle of the country, so you got it all covered. What do you see that how are most people dealing with all the question marks of how they can live today compared to what opportunities that they may or may not know about, what they can do to change their life?
You mean with everything that's happening?
Yeah,
Maybe uncertainty
well, that's one side of it.
or certainty? Well, the thing, yeah, perspectives. The thing is, and it's really interesting, you have to create your own economy regardless of the economy. And Surge 365 allows you to do that. Everybody on the show, listening to the show, knows someone who's traveling. Either they're getting ready to go someplace, they just got back, you know, but they know someone, even over the last month, within the last month, either back or forward, that's traveling. So when you have an opportunity, with a company such as Search 365, that is a travel business that allows you to participate in any aspect of the travel industry you choose. Travel isn't going anywhere. Currently, what, $11.1 trillion. By 2030, they're looking at it going up to $15 trillion. When you can tap into an industry globally and have global access to an industry at any time, any place, anywhere, then you're preparing for your future. What happens with people is they don't prepare for their future. You know, a good question a person has asked themselves: where do I want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and is the path that I'm on taking me there? One of the things when we came in the travel industry back in 2004, that was a question that I had. But what was interesting is that we love to travel. Little did I know travel could become my new source of income when I let my boss go. And it took me through 2008, certainty, uncertainty. Took me through COVID, certainty, uncertainty. And the most beautiful thing, Ron, is that it created this bubble that we were self-contained, that we could live in. So that regardless of 2008, regardless of COVID, regardless of even now, certainty, uncertainty, we have an opportunity. A person has an opportunity. Somebody listening in, you have an opportunity to create your own economy. that is self-sustainable. Now, that's powerful. When you actually in the travel industry, connecting to the travel industry, and for those who are listening to the show for the first time, Search 365 taps into the online booking industry with a product called the Vortex, where a customer, and this is a free link you can give out to the world, someone can go to that link when they book a hotel, as an example. It's going to save them up to 60% over the Expedia price. They earn the owner of the Vortex that person that sent that link out earns 100% of what that customer saves. So if they save $100, they made $100. So, but it taps into the online booking industry, which is a huge, huge moneymaker, revenue generator. The first product. The second product is an actual host travel agency, which is a career opportunity in in hospitality and tourism. So if you're looking for a new career, if you want to be a wedding destination specialist, if you want to be a SeaWorld specialist, a special needs travel specialist, you know, all this training is free and it's online. So now a person can have a career, right? I just love how you and Linda just take the trainings and are actual professional travel advisors. Then the third product is a members program where we get wholesale rates instead of retail rates to travel, where we have access to a concierge service that can do any and everything, give us white glove treatment. People want to be spoiled. Okay, you got someone that you can call, a concierge that you can call, and they'll spoil you. But we have all these three products primarily that tap into the global travel industry that give you the ability to create your own economy that you can tailor to whatever your likes, your passions, your desires are. That's powerful. That's powerful, huh? Eh?
I think that what you've done is you've opened up. There's a Greek mythology story. You call it Pandora's box. That there's something, and that's a story of something that's terrible. Don't open Pandora's box because you don't know what you're going to get, and it's not good. We have a Pandora's box. We've got to come up with a name for it because when you open up the book of travel, the box, the treasure chest, it's a treasure chest. And what it can do and the doors that it opens, the people that you get to, places you get to experience. I'm just incredible. If you had said to me 10, 15 years ago, in our lifetime, we'd be on six different cruises in the Caribbean. We'd gone to
Wow.
Europe and gone on a cruise, and we'd traveled the country back and forth to the West Coast and up to Maine and doing all. I wouldn't have thought. Sure, there'd be a pipe dream, maybe someday, somehow. Those are all things that have happened. That's history. That's not something I talk about. It's something we've done. And what's really cool is we've shared it with so many other different people, and the stories that we can share today are not just ours. We can share stories of other people that we've been able to travel with. Every once in a while the door opens for me to share this story. I have a sister, and many people, our friends know that I call her my baby sister. She's just hit 65 years old. She's still my baby sister. Growing up, her and then she got married, and her life was, and she loves me, tells a story. Her husband's life was not good. They had a really worse than rocky marriage. All kinds of things. Now, for years after we got started, you introduced us to the travel business, Rick, you and Brenda, and Glenn and Chantel, who opened up doors for us. And we turned around and gone on cruise. Well, my sister kept calling, and she always wanted to go on a cruise with us. And it just never really worked out when they were available, or I can't say that I was going out of my way because we didn't enjoy their company at that time. Today, we call them the Lovebirds.
How about that?
They have turned around. Now they've been on six cruises. In 2 weeks, we're going to be going down from Buffalo to Port Canaveral. and flying to Disney, and then we're going on the cruise ship Freedom for another 5 day cruise, and we're welcoming, going to be with Captain Len Kane, the original Top Gun. Carnival's going to recognize him on the cruise. We're going to have a great time eating. We'll get those guy burgers, and we'll stack up all the time. Going to have some great times together. And my sister and brother are going to be there. Now, a year ago, they went on one of the cruise ships. They got started, and we've created a monster. And they've now
Wow.
been on 6 cruises themselves. The last cruise that they went on in the wintertime in February, they chose to be on the cruise ship Liberty on Valentine's Day, Rick. And
Amazing.
Shaq O'Neal, they had a recording. Shaq became ordained to do weddings. And so they had on a big screen TV on board the ship, on board one of the decks, and they had a cake and they had champagne, they had a band, and they had 400 people, including them, Sue and David, renewed their wedding vows.
Wow.
Now, you know, you talk about establishing and changing the course of someone's life. The privilege of being able to do that, and it wasn't like we pounded it in them, you got to do this. They begged us to come with us on a cruise. Once they got started, they can't stop. And of course, we'll be meeting with them a week from Sunday. We'll be flying down to Disney and then onto the port to go on the ship. I mean, this is just incredible that we can see lives changed and lives changing. And when you can be a part of doing that in lives of people in this world, when you hear all the other garbage going on, this is just something I can brag about.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It really is. I mean, it's something that you can brag about. You actually changed a life. Travel changes lives, and you have changed the life of your sister and her husband forever. They'll probably do they want to travel with you? Oh, they don't travel with grandkids anymore.
Right. We did make sure we changed that process.
Yeah, yeah. Unless it's intentional. You're on a Disney cruise or something like that. Glenn had an interesting comment here. TDY assignment for training, talking about my assignment here in Page, Arizona, helping with the restaurant. And it's funny because my brother-in-law, call him my brother, Keith, he said the night before we showed up, he said, Rick, you can be a food runner. The people that carry the food out to the tables. And because he was trying to figure out what can you do, in the restaurant, da 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 da. And I started thinking, I'm like, man, I would hate to spill a tray of food on a person. You have to have pretty good balance with that. And you've seen them hold the trays like almost over their head, on their shoulders with one hand. Like, I've always wondered, how do you do that? And so he said, you can be a food runner. Like, oh man, I can wash dishes. But it turned out my skill set, of course, is management. Brenda's skill set is management and organization, and making sure relationships happen, making sure there are processes that flow people, creating checklists and military. So Glenn and Mary creating checklists for the different positions, and so we're creating checklists. We're putting the processes in place. We're sitting down and then we're meeting with people. We're making sure the relationships are there. And of course, I'm making signs, on the computer that need to be, posted in different places. And they're effectively using my skill set. But Glenn mentioned TDY. TDY is the term in the military, temporary duty, when you would go to an assignment just temporarily and perform whatever function in support of the mission. And but we are TDY in Page, Arizona, and one of these days we'll be freed up to do tourist stuff. And so Glenn said Rick and Brenda may be overqualified. You know, that's a good good observation and question. And what's cool is you can see once you understand, and you're put in the middle of a situation, you can identify the needs that match your qualification. Yes, me running food, me bussing tables, but I was willing to do it. I may be overqualified for that, but when you've got a certain set of skills and you're put in the middle of a situation, you can see exactly where they need those skill sets. Exactly. And that's what we're doing. We've been in the middle of the situation, and it's funny because I know Brenda, and she can adjust and adapt to any role, whether it's leisure, take care of me, whether it's no, we need to make this thing happen. And so you can imagine Brenda shifting to no, we need to make this thing happen. And follow me, I'm your leader. And I'm seeing that transition because I know I've seen it, throughout our life. And she has shifted into follow me, I'm your leader. Let's get that done. Let's get that done. She's a great organizer. She's just knows how to do almost everything that's needed. Let's get that done. Let's do that. And so she has shifted into that mode. And it's funny when you see that shift into that mode from, oh, I want to be pampered. I want to be taken care of. I want to go to the resort that says, what pillow softness do you desire? You have a butler assigned to your room, as you and Linda did down in Cancun, where
That was so special. That was our 50th wedding anniversary trip, Rick. And when we went, somebody at the company or somebody let them know the complex that it was our anniversary. Every restaurant we went in, they had a special at the end of our dinner. The crew and the chefs came out singing songs to us and delivered a big platter with sparklers on it and a special cake or special dessert and flaming. I mean, it was just incredible. Every restaurant for a whole week that went on for us. And so actually we got spoiled, I got to tell you. But whether it was Japanese or Spanish or the steakhouse, I mean, just everywhere we went, it was just special. And I guess we say to ourselves, how do we get here? Well, number one, we knew somebody. You never heard it said, Rick? When I was younger, there was a time when I think it was just after school. People were going around saying, "Well, it's who you know," and they always said it like their nose twisted, and they were like Giannis or
I
they had
know
to
a
be,
guy.
who you know. Well, guess what? It is who you know. If we hadn't met you, we'd have missed out on all this stuff. So just think
Isn't that amazing? But
all the
most
people that
people,
we can touch today, lives we can change.
a lot of people don't take advantage of that. Like, even us being invited here to Page, Arizona, we're actually learning the restaurant business. We didn't know the restaurant business, but we have a certain set of skills and that apply to anything. Now we know the restaurant business. That whole system is called Toast Pro. That is the software that manages the restaurant operations, every aspect of it. Before we got here, they have online training, and Brenda was taking the classes and looking at the videos. And I created a training manual based on some of the different classes online. But she dove into learning the system even before coming here. She always says is continually learning something new. Always be learning something new. She dove into it. So Ron, that's when I knew that just pack your bag and go carry the bag. You're not gonna get out of this one. I can always go by how she's motivated, right? To know whether God is actually doing something, and because there's an anointing and a power that comes to accomplish. And that's the same thing when we actually came into business after she realized that, travel is a business and we're not doing anything different. We're just now figuring out a way. Listen to what I'm getting ready to say, a way to monetize your passion for travel, the thing that you're going to do anyway. Right now, we see people going on trips, flying all over the place, and we say, hey, great, go have a good time, enjoy yourself. But they didn't monetize their trip, either to make money or save money or both. So when Ron and Linda come in the business, search 365, next thing I know, they're over in Europe. That is the most amazing story. Ron,
Well,
how did you get to Europe? How did you get to Europe? And
well,
I'm like, where are they at?
Rick, for 10 years, we would get a CD or a video or a magazine, a brochure in the mail from a company called Viking River Cruises. And back then, they weren't as popular. They weren't sponsoring PBS shows or shows on television and for movie theaters and magazines. It was still pretty, they were still, just really getting started. They had 9 ships. Now I think they got 20. Well, we always wanted to go on we want to go to England, we want to go back to Europe. And gosh, when you presented this concept to us, it just made sense. And then we found out we could go, and there was a commission involved. If we booked this cruise, we could book it. We're passengers. Even though we became travel agents. We got certified. We get we could buy it wholesale. And so
Wow.
they had what we did is we went on the cruise. When we got home, there's a check in our mailbox. See,
That is amazing. You
well,
monetized.
yeah. So
Wow.
right off the bat, it made us realize. Well, number one, we said, well, first of all, we got to travel. Number one. Number two, we got to make money. Number
Mm.
three, so many people around us were in careers, but either their careers were going away, or the government, even back then, the government was still kind of closing down stuff. What's just happened isn't new. They've been trying to narrow and make the government get smaller for months. Just think of it. People aren't just in Washington, D.C. losing their jobs. There are people all across the country. And where are they going to go? You know, there are going to be new jobs for people, and they're going to bring some industrial back, and that's all well and good. There'll even be new people working in the new AI and the inner worlds of the computer. But there are a lot of people who don't want to go back into an office, but they're done doing what they did in the office for most of their life. There used to be this formula when I first got in college. It was they say, well, get yourself a good education, all the education you got, get a good job, go to work long hours, work hard, and at the end, everything was going to be okay. And of course, it was a lie then, and it's a lie now, because the one thing you can guarantee, if you have a job, it's going to go away. So
Wow.
all of a sudden, this guy that I knew, and he only had a PhD in math and was an advisor to 3 presidents. Do you think he might be somebody I'm listening to? And
Yes,
so
I
he
guess
said to me
so.
one day, you ought to meet up with this guy named Rick and Brenda Reese. He lives in Colorado. I know he's nowhere near you around you, but believe me, you ought to talk to him. And thank goodness we did,
Wow. I know
because
a guy.
I know a guy. See, there's two things. You want to have a guy. You want to have a side hustle. I mean, all the terms you can think of. You want to be able to become independent. You want something that you can create equity in. You want something that has
You
value.
own.
And now you can turn around. If you buy equity in a house, you can't eat it, and you got a long time before you're going to benefit from it.
It's
If you
true.
invest in people, you can get paid right away, immediate.
It's true. I
So I
realized,
believe in investing in people, time,
yes,
caring, help, sharing. I believe doing that and believing
yes,
that equity that you share and you lift people up and you serve. See, the whole key word comes down to serving.
yep,
If you're doing those things, you can't be out there demonstrating. You can't be going up and down lines carrying signs. You can't be wrecking stuff, or you can't be dissing people. You
yep.
got to be help people achieve. And in doing that, God blesses you big time.
That's why you guys are always blessed. What you did for your sister in helping them to restore their marriage, what you guys did for, and you had mentioned the Valentine's Day event that you had with over 100 people
Yep.
attending for your church, and that one couple I remember that you mentioned that was about ready to get a divorce. And
Their guys went to a lawyer that week.
amazing. And
Instead,
what?
they came to the banquet.
Huh?
Instead of going back to the lawyer, they started coming to church. They came to
Wow.
the banquet, the Valentine's banquet, where they were surrounded by people who were joyful and were loving, and they were looking to do more of that. By the way, it was the middle of the winter. It was February 14th, snowstorm, and yet it was so warm in the restaurant and so much fun. We had so many things going on. Oh, by the way, we gave away a free trip vacation package to people. We drew everybody put their name in a hat, and we drew a couple, and Sue and Steven, they're going to go. We're waiting for the certificate to come. They're going on a trip. We drew
Nice.
them in for a prize we gave as the gift coming
Nice.
to the event.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Like you're saying, serving people, that's what it's all about. The other thing you was talking about was, every job has a shelf life. I mean, the job that you have today, most likely you will not have 5, 10 years from now, right? Right. Because everybody gets tired, or either you go or they let you go. One or the other. And you go, let me take that. But to be able to say, okay, what am I going to do? And it may not be travel. It may not be hospitality and tourism. But it's nothing like having full control of what happens to you, in employment. Owning your job, like you said, owning your job. And this is what Brenda and I see, we realized back in 2005 that the job path is not gonna work. I just happen to be in a controlling job. I mean, where they like, Rick, you got to do this 80-hour work week,
Uh,
80-hour work week. Well, you've been there too, Ron. And
yep.
you know that that's not sustainable. And because at some
No
point,
fun.
it's no fun. It was funny because my kids were young at that time, and they would bring me my lunch, and we had a van. And so Brenda would drive up, and I'd meet them out in the parking lot. And the kids are jumping in the front back seat. They're just having a good old time, getting ready to go to the park. And Brenda would hand me my little brown bag lunch out the window. And I'd come out and I'd grab my little bag, and the kids are jumping around in the van, getting ready to go to the park, all excited. And I'd grab that little brown bag lunch. And after a bit, turn around, kind of walk back in, all dopey, sad. And she drives off, and the kids are happy. I'm feeling happiness drive away. And I go back in, and I'm working so hard that I don't even have time to eat my lunch. And I wake up in the morning, and the kids are asleep. Come back home, and the kids are asleep. That's not a life. And I finally said, hey, but I realize that every job has a shelf life. And at some point, either they let you go or you let them go. I realized early on I need to let them go. Now, I didn't know travel would be the thing, but I let them go. And I'm a community person, so I go to serve in the community. And the travel business is a business that people are looking for. Like somebody is waking up in the morning looking for you. They have been praying for you. They've been looking for an opportunity, praying for an opportunity. And we have that. And I, met this gentleman, gave him the opportunity, just like you gave it to, yourself and Linda, your wife. And he took it and he ran with it. And he became very successful in it. And I'm like, wow. And with the marketing, with the business, business opportunity there, being able to override and to create residual income, I'm serving in the community, getting a check because of the overrides and me sharing the opportunity with someone and me training him and showing him what he can do and how to be successful. And he becomes highly successful. And I'm overriding that because of the training, that I'm providing him. And I'm getting a check while I'm in the community that allows me and sustains me in the community. He's successful. I'm successful. And I realize that network marketing works as a marketing method. So the corporations are not just all getting, the money. Now the people have an opportunity to create wealth instead
Hey
of
Rick,
giving. Uh-huh.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I can't hold back.
This is good.
Well,
Go
the first
ahead.
time I realized that term, that a lot of people use a label because like people like labels, network marketing or referral marketing, whatever it is. The
Circle
time
of
I
fame.
realized that not only worked, it was endorsed and not only endorsed but promoted by God. When
Yeah.
He had Jesus send out the 12 to go out and talk to everybody in the world. And word of mouth, thank goodness, 2,000 years ago they did that because you and I today are carrying on our faith. And this Friday, this weekend is Easter week, the glorious week of the year. And we're going to be celebrating that because network marketing works.
Network marketing, servant leadership,
Yeah.
as Joel would say, servant leadership. And I love the story that Joel would talk about and share with Bill Gates at Microsoft. With Bill Gates starting something that how many people now are benefiting and overriding, you know, and every single person that's listening has an opportunity to be that Bill Gates that starts something that benefits not only individuals, but benefits the world. We talk about travel and we talk about neurodiversity and the ability for a person, like Mary is doing. She's a professional in neurodiversity, and because she's a professional in understanding autism and PTSD and attention deficit disorder and all those different things that they classify as neurodiversity. Now, having a connection with yourself and Linda and myself, understanding the travel side, how about marrying those two together to where now you can take your professional skill set in neurodiversity and realize there's a void in the industry, in the travel industry, to understand how can I better accommodate people, that may have, or fall into the spectrum? How can I accommodate them in and to meet their travel needs? What can I do to work with those families?
So
What can I do?
I am working by the end of the weekend. The neurodiversity traveling will have a website up with
What
resources.
happened to the sound?
We got neurodiversity sound.
All right, is that better? Hang on. All right, better?
No, Mary.
There, now is that better?
Nope, that's better. No,
The life and times of the Hope Collection.
sunspots are out again, guys.
Hey,
Sunspots are out.
no children who like to play with my equipment. My son was playing studio in my studio last night.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You sound so much better.
So I am creating a website to explain what neurodiversity travel is with resources and different checklists that will be available sometime beginning of next week.
Nice.
Hey, I love AI.
Hey, you know what? Talk about AI. AI is amazing. AI is absolutely amazing. It's a game changer.
It really is, and I've been blessed to be surrounded by a bunch of individuals that do nothing but play with AI all day long to learn the different things that are out there. And so AI is great for people who don't know how to do things, like create websites, presentations. And so like Gamma is one that I use now that creates all the presentations, it creates websites, it does everything by literally you putting in your ideas and helps you reword what you're trying to say.
Wow. Wow. I'm going to use that in the restaurant here for the digital marketing with the TV that we just purchased, and hanging from the ceiling so people outside can actually see that can roll in food, roll in the canyons and all the different attractions that can show them the menu. And like you're saying, AI can create that whole video loop, you know, that I can just have it loop 24/7. But using
Correct.
AI to create that, and I saw your marketing brochure, it's outstanding.
Yeah, it is for any small business that doesn't understand marketing. AI is that game changer, especially for those who can't afford to hire a marketer. Because it helps you create the color scheme. It helps you create, here's the concept, let's create a logo that go with it.
You know, Mary, what's so beautiful, we talk about Surge and Travel Tuesday. The people have to realize this is so much bigger than travel. We're teaching you skills for life that give you value for life. When I come to the restaurant, they're saying, Rick, I need you to write a letter for one of our employees who needs to take this and show it to someone as a character reference. And they know I can do AI, right? So, Rick, can you write this letter? I'm like, sure. Tell me a little bit about her. And Mary knows what I'm talking about. You just give it a couple of things here, and it writes a character reference letter. Boom, boom, boom.
And what's
And
even cooler with that, you can add it into another level by doing, like if you're using Chat GPT, you can add into them that person's name so they can do an internet search. So, like going to their Facebook page or different things that are on the internet with that person to help build that character reference another level.
and and I'll do that because I had to write a checklist, and I created a website for Rustic Thistle, the restaurant. And I said, analyze this website and write a checklist for this particular position. Right?
Hey, Rick,
Yes,
is one of your specials going to do recognizing when people come in the restaurant and it's their birthday?
yes. Hey, you hit the nail on the head. So I'm creating an employee appreciation program
Well,
and
we have
customer.
a leadership
Customer.
appreciation day today for Miss Linda.
Ooh,
It's her birthday.
whoa! Happy birthday to
Oh,
you.
okay, you gotta give me a minute. That's right.
Happy birthday, dear
I'm sorry,
Linda.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Rick, but I
Happy
didn't want to miss the
birthday
opportunity.
to you.
Thank you.
Hey, I can never go into a singing job, but I can do this. Everybody's saying happy birthday, Linda.
Thank you.
Must be great to turn 45.
Yes, I'm 45 and holding. And holding and holding.
And holding and holding. No, happy birthday. Oh, man, that's so awesome.
Okay.
Yep. So, in tradition of optimize my life fashion,
Uh-huh.
here you go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear you. Happy birthday to Linda.
Hi, thank you,
Thank
Princess.
you.
Yay!
Woo! Yay, 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 yay.
Hey,
Boy,
thank
oh
Wow.
boy.
you.
We love you, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We will see ya.
Everybody, have a wonderful and blessed day today.
And a wonderful, blessed Easter.
Yes, happy Easter also.
Yes, yes, yes. Happy Easter. Happy Resurrection Day.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, guys. God bless you.
Okay. We'll see ya. Thanks, Glenn and Lynn
Bye.
and Chantel.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, thanks,
guys.
man.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, West Coast. Talk to you later.